Hello, and welcome to 5 Minute Math. Today we are looking at the 3.58 readiness practice representing addition and subtraction. This is the advanced version. If you are interested in looking for the intermediate or proficient versions for 3.5a, or for the readiness practice resources for any other standard, you can find them all by using the link in the video description. So we have a bake sale here. We've got some third graders selling treats in Mrs. Smith's class and Mr. Jones' class. We need to draw a strip diagram, create a number line, and write an equation comparing them. So let's start with a strip diagram. So we are going to start with, we've got Mrs. Smith's class, and we'll start with the first thing that we're told. 103 cupcakes. I'm going to put 103 and then a C for cupcakes. And then Mr. Jones' class sold 196 cookies. So I'm going to put this for S for Smith's class. I'm going to put a J for Jones' class right here. And Mr. Jones' class sold more, almost double. So I'm going to put 196 cookies right there. And then we've got Mrs. Smith's class also sold 99 brownies. So we need to add some brownies here. So almost another 100 brownies. So I'm going to put that right there, 99B. So I've drawn a strip diagram, but I need to show how many more treats than Mrs. Smith's class sold than Mr. Jones' class. So really, this is what I'm looking for. I'm looking for this little tiny gap right here. So I need to figure out how much did she sell. Well, I've got the 103 and the 99. And that's the same as 102 plus 100 if you want to use compensation. So that's going to be 202. So sold 202, and Mr. Jones sold 196. So just a little bit left. So we can say 196 to figure out what this gap is. That's only going to be 6 away. So Mr. Jones' class only sold 6 less than Mrs. Smith's class. So I can show that with a strip diagram here. I can show that with an equation here. I could take my 103, add my 99. You don't necessarily need the parentheses, but I'll add them here just to show that those two are grouped together in Miss Smith's class. And I can subtract my 196, and that's going to give me my 6. Or I could do it with a number line. All right, so if I've got a number line here, and I do get a little bit past 200, so I'm going to make it between 0 and 300, which means my halfway point is going to be 150, and then half of that's going to be 75, and half of that's going to be 225. So just to give me some numbers to work with. So what is my starting point here? My starting point is 103 cookies, so I'm just going to put that right about here. And I'm going to say 103, and that's my start. Now, I need to add the brownies, so I get the total for Miss Jones. So that's going to end up being right around here, maybe. It's going to get up to, what did I get up to? 202, because I added 99. And if I'm going to compare, right, then I want to move backwards to find the difference, and that's going to be 196. And look how far back I go. Almost all the way to the beginning. Because I'm taking away 196 to compare the two, minus 196. So I've got my equation, I've got my number line, I've got my strip diagram. Any way you look at it, Mrs. Smith's class sold 6 more treats than Mr. Jones' class. For our second problem, we've got a school library, and it has 328 books on the shelves. I need to write this in an equation, number line, and strip diagram. I'll start with an equation this time. 328 books. 259 were checked out by students. So I'm going to need to take away 259. Okay, and so I'm not going to do that horizontally. I'm going to write that as my equation, but I also need to actually do the math. So let's write this out over here. Let's do this vertically, like our teacher taught us. That's 18 minus 9 is going to be 9. I need to regroup again, take 100, leaving 2. Now I've got 11 tens. Minus 5 tens is 6 tens. I've got 69 left. Okay, so I've got 69 left. And then the librarian's going to receive a shipment of 153. So when you receive a shipment, you're getting more books. So I'm going to add 153. So let's add that to the 69 that I had remaining. It's going to be 12. It's going to be another 12. Look at that, 222. So that's my equation. How much did I have at the end? 222. I also need to create a number line and a strip diagram. So we can follow that same pattern that we had earlier. So let's have a number line. This time let's make it go to 400. So let's cut it in half, 200. And then let's cut each half in half. 100, 300. All right, so where am I starting? 328. So that's going to be maybe right around here. 328, and I'll write start. And I'm going to take away 259 because they were checked out by students. And so that's going to get me down to 69. So that's going to come all the way down to maybe here, minus 259. And that's going to get me to 69. And then I add 153. So I'm going to start here and then move it back. And that's going to get me to right about, maybe not that far. Let's go a little bit closer to 200. There we go. 222. And that's going to be my end or my finish. So that's a number line that shows, because I added that 153 right there, how we added and subtracted. Then we could also use a strip diagram. So a strip diagram, right, is we can take the amount of books that we had. So I'm going to take my two numbers that I am going to add, that 328, the 153. Then I'm going to compare that with my 259, right? And then what I'm missing here is going to be that missing number, and that's going to end up being that 222. So those are three ways that we can show that the library now has 222 books. Let's look at our third problem. Liam has 429 coins in his video game. He earns more, then he uses some. We need to create all three, but this time let's create a number line first. So 429, I'm going to go up to 1,000 on mine because it looks like he's going to get quite a few coins here. So let's go 0 to 1,000. So that's going to be 500. And if I cut each of those in half, that's going to give me 250 and 750. All right. So Liam had 429 coins. So let's start there. Maybe that's going to be right around here. 429. Start. He earned 389 more. Okay, so he's going to earn 389 more. Let's add that up here. That means I'm going to go to the right, but I want to see how far I need to go. 389. That's going to get me 18. That's going to give me 10, 11. And that's going to give me 8. So up to 818. So maybe right around there. So I'm at now 818 because I just added 389. Then he's going to use 309 to buy new skin. Okay, so if I use it, I'm going to subtract. So 309. So I need to regroup from there. That's going to give me a 9. 509. So that's going to get me almost to 500, but just a little bit before. 509, and that's going to be my end or my finish because I subtracted 309. So that is how I can show that with a number line. I also need a strip diagram and an equation. So we could do the same thing to where we are taking. Let me just draw one big bar here, and then I'll just cut it into pieces. So this is my 429 to start. This is my 389 that I'm adding. And then I'm going to take away 309. And I'm looking for my missing piece, which is the 509. I also need an equation. Now the equation you can kind of do in any order here. So I'm going to go ahead and just do the equation in the order that the numbers were given. So I'll put that down here. And I'm going to say I've got the 429, right? And then I added the 389. And then I'm going to subtract the 309. I don't necessarily need to use the parentheses there. So we can just leave it just like that. And then that's going to equal our difference, right? Our new coins. We already know the answer, so we can go ahead and supply that with 509. So if you are interested in looking for the readiness practice for the intermediate or the proficient versions of 3.5a, or the resources for any other standard, you can find them by using the link in the video description.